YouTube fam? It's your boy Cam Mars from a show about football, joined by Craig Jordan, also from a show about football. I usually do these solo, but today we got Jordan joining us for a transfer portal conversation. Like I said before, coaching changes, it kind of restarts the portal, something that should be slowing down. But with all these coaching changes, these players have another 30 days to enter the portal if their coach left. So we've seen a lot of movement going on from Washington, Ohio State, or Washington, Bama, um, Arizona, all of those schools. We've seen some movement from those players going to schools like Ohio State, schools like Iowa, et cetera, et cetera. So we just want to break that down and have a quick conversation about it, our thoughts and how we think these players will affect their new teams and how they will affect the teams that they've left. So we're gonna jump right into it. You got any quick thoughts you want to share before we dove into it?
No, starting to see the trail of the money. That's all I'm gonna say. Starting to see the trail of the money, where the
It's
money's
not
flowing.
always the money, man. It's not always the money. People always say, "Hey, it's the money." It's not always the money. Sometimes it's the money. Does the money matter? To a certain extent, I know you're the money guy, but it's not always the money. Sometimes it is the fit. Sometimes it is a relationship with the coach. Does the money a cherry on top? Yes, but it's not always the money. If your number one option is in the ballpark of, like, let's say you have a higher offer, but your number one option is in the ballpark of that higher NIL offer. You'll still go to your number one option. The money's in the ballpark.
Potentially. I don't know. The only reason why I could think that Caleb Downs would have gotten sniped from Georgia to Ohio State would be money, bro.
You're
It could have been a better
biased.
fit. It could have been a better fit. And my unbiased opinion, real quick before we get into Ohio State. Um, I thought that we had a good shot at Caleb Downs simply because it's the SEC. Kirby runs similar defense and Nick Saban, coach, everything like that. Um, and then when I found out he was going to Ohio State, I was like, okay, all right. But Ryan Day is a good coach. They had a good program up there in Ohio. And I know the NIL coffers are very deep, so they probably were able to break him off what he wanted at least. I would say that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Caleb Downs got paid. I said this in a previous video. It was reported that his potential NIL package would be comparable to some of the hottest quarterbacks that were on the market, just because of the value that he brings to the defensive side of the ball. Like, we're talking about somebody that's going to be a first round pick in 2 years, like probably a top 10, top 15 pick at the safety position. Can do it all. Had 107 tackles last year as a freshman. Led the team in tackles at Bama as a freshman. So we're talking about someone from day one can change the tone of your defense. So like, he got paid. Of course he got paid. But Ohio, as soon as he entered the portal, it was Ohio State or Georgia. So they were both in the running. Like, they were both in the running. It may not have been a money thing. He may have, like, he had prior relationships with both coaching staffs. Um, it could have been a situation where, like, hey, he got along a little bit better with the guys at Ohio State than maybe he did with the guys at Georgia.
Potentially. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying, I'm starting to see where the money is flowing though. You know what I'm saying? Cuz
I mean,
like we said in previous conversations with Alabama not being a premier program that it is, cuz if Alabama were a premier program where the money is flowing and all this and that, we might not be seeing a mass exodus of people even after a coaching change. But wait. But I will say, shout out to the foundation up at Ohio State, making sure that they're getting these deals done. I know JT Barrett's on the foundation. I know Urban Meyer as well as on the board too as well. So shout out to them for getting, making sure that Ryan Day is able to go out and get these players like Caleb Downs, because this is a game changer for Ryan Day at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? This takes that Ohio State team from like, all right, what are they going to do moving forward to, okay, you got something that you could really build around, really build around.
I mean, so far they only have 5 commitments in the portal. But if you look at who they grabbed, it's all pretty much all game changers. Will Howard, of course, at quarterback, game changer. Someone they're expecting to be an upgrade from Kyle McCord. Quinshawn Judkins, you pair him with Trevion Henderson. That's scary, bro. That's scary. Especially Trevion Henderson, someone who's battled injuries, and now to have to offset that with another elite back, like that's scary, bro. That's scary. No disrespect to Maya Williams and Chip Tranum, the two former backs that was in the backfield, Trevion Henderson, but y'all not Quinshawn. Let's keep it a beam. They got Seth McLaughlin from Alabama. I know he had a rough game against Michigan with them go
Mm,
ass snaps. He had a rough
mm,
game against Michigan. But they're getting somebody at the center position, and they're bringing in a tight end from the University of Ohio. So I don't. He may just be a in-state guy wanting to transfer. But four of their five guys, I know for sure, will be high impact players. Well, high ceilings, high floors.
mm-hmm.
Like even if Caleb Downs doesn't become a superstar, he's still gonna be damn good. You know what I'm saying? So like they're getting a lot of high impact guys. And
Absolutely.
so yeah, so if that's what the foundation did, that should be enough to add to what they already get. With the Mecca Ibuka coming back at receiver, and of course natural progression of the younger guys at the same spot. So uh, they like people on Twitter saying like, hey, like they paid for everything, they won the off season, but nobody cares about that because Ryan Day is gonna flame out this, that, and the third. They might win that motherfucker this year. They might win it.
I'm not gonna be on no hater shit tonight. I'm just gonna let you know that I gotta see it
I mean, of course
before
you
I
got to
could
see it,
before I could
but they got a
crown.
chance.
I mean,
Like,
that's
like
cool. That's cool.
at,
Talented on paper, but
with the defending national champion in Michigan, we don't know what Harbaugh is going to do yet. Harbaugh, he has what he's been gallivanting across the NFL the past few weeks. Doing that, you don't know. You don't know what's going
mm-hmm.
to happen. So if
Mm-hmm.
he leaves, that's another 30-day window for Michigan players to enter the portal.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And,
But a lot of the Michigan
and
guys are gone anyway.
well, I mean, they had a deep roster, bro. Like they expect to at the point now they don't rebuild, they reload. But coach leaves, and people are saying, well, and to say what you're gonna to what you said earlier about people leaving Alabama, bro. People are gonna porter regardless. Give people the opportunity to porter, they're gonna porter regardless. It don't matter about the money. Look at A&M.
Mm, yeah, but A&M's done really well in the portal, regardless of a
Yeah,
regime change.
but look at what they lost.
They've lost a lot
Evan
of guys.
Stewart, Walter Nolan, LT Overton, like bro, like they lost elite players.
They did. They did. I'll agree with that. But I think they've also now has their portal work equivalated to the players that they've lost? Probably not. But in the same time, they got deep pockets in A&M, so they're still able to kind of reload again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not saying like Bama. I think will eventually like reload. And they're reload now. They're still getting guys in now. I would say, but I'll say a reason why a lot of those guys left though is you think about it. DeBoer is on the West Coast and he's at Washington. Washington. You look at Washington's roster from last year, this past year. Besides like Michael Penix and like one or two other guys, everybody else is from the western side of the United States. So there wasn't, and Bama national recruit, but still a lot of those guys come from down south. So there wasn't a lot of familiarity with Kalen DeBoer, which is probably another reason why they decided to port him.
Mm, no, honestly, what I think, bro. I mean, they had an opportunity to portal, bro. Bama just came
Yeah,
off of a playoff, so now with the coach leaving, with Nick Saban gone, this is like perfect opportunity for everybody to portal and kind of see what their value is. So
but
I think,
I'm
like,
saying
I just feel
I'll cut
like
you
if
off.
go ahead, go
I'll
ahead.
cut you off. But what I'm saying is that like that's still a reason why some of them did portal. They don't know him. Like he didn't recruit them previously, versus where like they can Georgia, Kirby Smart. 9 times out of 10, if you played for Bama, Kirby Smart them recruited you. Or Ohio State recruited you. You know what I'm saying? Or Ole Miss recruited you. Auburn recruited you. You know what I'm saying? There's a relationship. They don't know killing DeBoer. So basically, what I'm saying is, of course, you can see what your value is. But what I'm saying is that maybe a Caleb Downs does stay if there's some sort of a relationship with that staff that Kalen DeBoer just brought in,
That's fair. Okay, fair enough.
versus where like Ohio State, he knows them. and he's gonna get paid. He could like because it's not like he couldn't have got paid at Bama. Like Bama would have backed up the Brinks truck for Caleb Downs and Caden Proctor, who just went to Iowa. They would have backed up the Brinks trucks from them, but they don't know DeBoer enough. So
That's fair. Yeah, fair enough. But I would say still, shout out to Ohio State. Ryan Day at this point, you know, I don't know how many excuses you're gonna have if you can't get it done this year, bro.
yeah, facts. Do you think Will Howard will be better than Kyle McCord? Like I think year two Kyle McCord starting, I don't think he would have been bad. I don't think he was necessarily bad this year, but I think he would have been better next year, obviously, than he was this year. I don't think he would have been bad.
I think the problem is Ohio State's fan base is beyond the point of player development. Like they want like the finished product, like on the field, ASAP. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Kyle McCord is one of those player development type players. I think year 3, year 4, Kyle McCord, oh my God, he's probably killing it in the Ohio State system at
Well,
that point. Even year 2.
what which would have been this would have been year two.
Mm-hmm.
This is also his last year eligibility. He's done after this.
Okay, okay. So I think a second year Kyle McCord in that system would have been. I mean, I'm not saying they would have put up CJ Stroud numbers, but I think he would have been improved.
Yeah, and Will Howard's good, but Will Howard isn't like a world beater. So for me, them making that move, them scapegoating Kyle McCord was basically what it was. Them scapegoating Kyle McCord. You have to be 100% sure that this 1 year rental of Will Howard is better than year two of development and continuity of Kyle McCord actually playing real live snaps when it matters and not just CJ Stroud backup.
And
You
bro,
got to be 100% sure.
well, and here's the thing: this is a huge gamble because I mean, what I personally think. I mean, I'm just a media guy, so what do I know? But I personally think this whole Kyle McCord thing really hinged on that last drive against Michigan, bro. Because if you take Kyle McCord film from the whole entire season, even from that Notre Dame game when he had that game-winning drive, all the way up to that Michigan game, I didn't really see anything bad with Kyle McCord. Okay, yeah, maybe he's not running for 150 yards like CJ Stroud and throwing for 300.
CJ Stroud wasn't running for 150.
You know what I mean? Okay, he wasn't running for 150, but he wasn't making the plays with his legs like CJ Stroud could. But at the end of the day, I feel like Kyle McCord was decent, bro. Kyle McCord got them within one drive of going to the playoff. You know what I'm saying? One drive. Like that's it. And is Will Howard one drive better than Kyle McCord? Only time will tell.
Yeah, remains to be seen. TBD. TBD.
Only time will
But
tell.
it's one of those things where it's like, is it? I feel like when you make a move like that, a quarterback at a school like Ohio State, you got to be 100% sure that this guy is like leaps and bounds better than the guy you just pushed out the back door.
Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, Will Howard got to be damn near like pushing for the Heisman, bro. For this kind of risk
For
that
it to
they're
be worth
taking,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
for this risk that they're taking, bro. Like, we can't. I don't want to see no average Will Howard. Ohio State's only beating teams by 10 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see that because honestly, that's not good enough. Mm.
Yeah, because and if we bring on Kansas State, what they had appreciated having Will Howard for his last year eligibility, yes, but Avery Johnson was on his heels to be the guy coming into the season who was a good quarterback in his own right. So Kansas State kind of felt like they had a guy behind him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Kansas State feel like they got a guy behind the guy that you pushed your guy out for, you better be right. like you you better be. We talk about like Caleb Downs, yes, good pickup. Quinshon Judkins, yes, a good pickup. It always still comes down to the quarterback.
Bro, if we're like, okay, here's a better comparison. If they go from like Kyle McCord to like Dylan Gabriel, all right, I'd be like, all right, bro, look, I can't even argue with you. Like, that's a true upgrade to me. Like, you got to be like that kind of level quarterback. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't even consider Dylan Gabriel that level quarterback, but I'm just saying for sakes argument purposes. That's what you need.
Yeah, yeah. And like I what Cam was Cam Ward the best ready-made quarterback on the portal in the portal right now? When I say ready-made, I mean like Aiden Childs was ranked higher than him, I think, and Dante Moore is ranked higher than him, I believe. But like those are young guys; those are true freshmen going into their sophomore year. Ohio State wants obviously a proven veteran. Was Cam Ward the best one on the out right now? And he's not even really elite.
Nah, hell nah, bro. Nah. And I thought about that too. I was like, should Ohio State have taken a swing at Cam Ward? And Cam Ward, like, he showed some great flashes at Washington State, but like, nah, bro. Like, nah, I don't think Cam Ward was the best guy off the board.
I'm trying. I'm pulling up 247's rankings right now
Now,
to see
if we're
where.
talking about after Dylan went to Oregon, was Cam Ward the best guy that they probably could have taken over Will Howard?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. Like Cam Ward is nice, but I'm not the biggest Cam Ward fan. Like you can say like, oh, he didn't have X, Y, and Z around him, but like I when I would watch
Nah,
Washington State, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad, but like I'm not saying he's a. I never was like, yeah, Cam Ward's a top 5 quarterback in college football.
I think if Cam Ward was really good, then he should have been what DJ Ukulele was to Oregon State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not even like to me. He's not a DJ Ukulele.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he had to went like if he had to did what DJ Ukulele did at Oregon State, at Washington State, for comparisons purposes, then I'd be like, all right, Cam Ward sweepstakes. Oh my God, who's gonna get Cam Ward? Like, all right, bet. But Cam Ward went like 5-6. Them niggas fell off after week 6. And we didn't hear from Cam Ward the rest of the season, bro. Honestly, like,
No,
and,
and
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was going to say I'm looking at the quarterback rankings now, and like the top 3 quarterbacks in the portal based off 247 is Julian Sayin, who has not taken a snap in college football yet. I'm not sure he stepped foot on the college campus yet. He was an Alabama commit who was signee who entered the portal now with the movement there. Then Aiden Childs, who obviously was DJ's backup in Corvallis last year, and then Dante Moore at 3, who was a true freshman at UCLA last year. So the top 3 ranked quarterback rankings in the portal are guys who have great potential but can't necessarily even help you yet. So like this class is pretty weak for quarterbacks, man. Cam
Yeah.
Ward's at 4, Caden Salter's at 5, but he stayed in the portal. Malik Murphy's at 6, who's been a backup the past 2 years.
I mean,
Malachi Nelson,
bro, check this out. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but when Riley Leonard went to Notre Dame, that told me all I needed to know about this class.
yeah, Riley Leonard's at 9. Malachi Nelson is 7, who was who's third string at SC this past year. Will Howard's at 8. Brock Vandergrift's at 10.
Honestly, the best like quarterback that you probably could have taken a swing on was what was that dude Malik from Texas?
Malik Murphy, he's been a backup. He's been a backup 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years running. Like, and they have Kyle McCord at 14 and Will Howard at 9. I mean, Will Howard at 8. Like,
I think, bro.
I don't know if that's
Look,
3. I don't know if that's 3 degrees of separation. I don't know. Like, I don't think it is.
look. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If this Will Howard experiment goes left at Ohio State, Ryan Day is gone.
He's cooked.
It's gone. It's gone. It's done. Because now that we're talking this out, because I'm thinking, all right, Will Howard, cool. He's kind of a hot name. He had a decent season at Kansas State, et cetera, et cetera.
When you break it down.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like, what were you even thinking, bro? Like, not what were you thinking, but it's like Benny the Butcher said it the best. You're not supposed to make cheap mistakes, and this might be a cheap mistake. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't a cheap mistake.
Well, it's a very expensive mistake, but I feel like at the same time it's like, bro, like you trying to be cheap, you know what I'm saying? You trying to get like a good quarterback, but you really not getting like the guy that you're looking for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
Being cheap.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't move the needle like that.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
Like we're telling ourselves it does. You're telling yourself it does, but like we don't know. But I don't think it moves the needle like that. And I'll say this too: Ohio State would make the playoff because it's a 12-team playoff. So like, let's say they make it, they lose first or second round, right? And Kyle McCord goes bonkers at Syracuse. Ryan Day still looks terrible. Like Kyle McCord has to not be good in order for this move to make sense.
He has to suck.
Yeah, he has to be bad. Like
for Ryan Day to be like, oh, I told you all y'all this from the beginning, type deal.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
I just think this is one of those moves, bro. Because like, again, and I Will Howard to Ohio State. Me trying to convince myself that this was a good move was like me trying to convince myself that Riley Leonard was a good quarterback. And that was a good move to Notre Dame. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do
I
it.
mean, you convinced yourself in the beginning of the season that Riley Leonard was elite.
I did, but I can't do it here. I can't do it. And hey, I hope it works out for Ryan Day, honestly, because he does have some other weapons. And one thing that I'm thinking about now, maybe Will Howard doesn't need to be elite.
Game manager.
Exactly.
I mean, with that backfield, in theory, with Quinshawn and Travion Henderson in the backfield together, that should shoulder most of the load.
Yeah.
But then again, it takes me to the point. If it unfolds how it unfolded, there was no reason to go get him. You could have had Kyle McCord do that.
Yeah.
and I know Quinshawn entered the portal late, and you weren't 100% sure Trevion's going to come back. I know things unfolded. But looking at it now, it's kind of like, but I think we agree Quinshawn was a good pickup. Caleb Downs, also a good pickup, which should bolster their defense immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And we expect Ohio State to be, and it was hard not to be in a playoff picture when it's 12 teams in your blue blood. But we expect Ohio State to be in the playoff picture. Let's just Big Ten, one of the Big Ten favorites.
Let's just say we expect Ohio State to probably make it to a semifinal, or at least shoot for a semifinal. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that we have the expanded playoff, I feel like we can probably move the line from making the playoff to like making it to like the semifinal or something like that. You feel me?
Yeah, now, it's so much different lingo change. Like I've been saying Power 4 lately instead of Power 5 because obviously it's Power 4 now. But yeah, Ohio State, we expect them to be, you said semifinals. They're gonna have to. Ryan Day might have to win that thing, for him to feel 100% comfortable.
Also, I know they have Emeka Buka coming back, but they did lose Julian Fleming, their third best wide receiver, or I think he was their third best wide receiver last year, right? Statistically, he did end up transferring to Penn State, so they might be a little thin at the wideout spot.
Oh no, they're just reload, bro. Carnell Tate's coming up. What? Emeka Buka, they got that backfield. Like they'll be fine, bro. I mean, they can spare a wide receiver or two. Julian Fleming should have went to Penn State in the first place. Receivers, stop going to Ohio State and just like toiling in mediocrity while you're watching the two or three receivers ahead of you go crazy. Stop. Just stop it. Stop.
Well, it's like, I mean, I feel like going to Ohio State, even if you don't play, is like going to work for Google. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a badge of honor, the development, things like that. But you want to play? Just stop. Please. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Facts. I will say one thing. Looking forward to Ohio State, they do have the benefit of, we're thinking like even with Michigan winning a national championship this year, that Michigan thing is probably not going to end up being a dynasty. So that's a good thing right there. The only thing they'll have to watch out for is like Oregon. Oregon's looking kind of scary out there. We'll talk about them later. But
I'll say the Michigan thing is contingent on Harbaugh. Harbaugh stays, bro. Like they're rolling. They're rolling. The team gets there, they're rolling. They can sustain that in my thought process. I want to put a bow on Ohio State in the Big Ten though, and move to Bama really quickly. As everybody knows, Nick Saban has gone. Well, he didn't go home. Nick Saban has gone from his office downstairs to his office upstairs.
I was like, the nigga didn't die.
Yeah. Well, he did. He still works for Alabama. He's an advisor to the program.
That's true. He's still gonna be on the sideline
Like,
and shit.
he's gone from one office to the next. He had a corner office. He had a corner office this past year. He probably has an entire wing now. So he's still there. But Kalen DeBoer is the coach. Obviously, like we said in the beginning of the podcast, 30-day window opens up, and boy, has the players in Tuscaloosa have they used that or not? Nick Saban retired on January 10th. Since then, they've had 10 transfers enter the portal. They had another 20 prior to that. Those guys are going to leave. Those guys are going to leave either way it went, just because buried in depth chart, things like that. We spoke about Caleb Downs, obviously, who left. Big loss. Caden Proctor, who started at left tackle this past year as a true freshman for Bama, he has gone back home to Iowa. And Iowa also texted him in the middle of the season to say, "Hey, we know you're struggling, but keep your head up." Don't know how legal that is, but that is what Kirk Ferentz did. And then they also lost Trey was a defensive back, Isaiah Bond as well, who was first or second best receiver this past year. So a couple losses are piling up for Mr. DeBoer, plus those NFL draft
Yep.
declarations and things like that.
Roydell Williams, Amari Nilback. They got bludgeoned. And I mean, as you expected, like you said, new regime. New changes comes a new roster, and Kalen DeBoer is gonna have to really build this program back up again. Honestly, that's kind of where they're at. Like, I never thought this Bama job was going to be one of those hand the keys to the Ferrari. No, when Nick Saban retired, the Ferrari was traded in and it was downgraded to a Toyota Sienna. Okay, so
No, not that bad. There's still loads of talent on that.
I
On
know, I
that
know, I know,
roster,
I
bro.
know that
Like,
I was being tongue in cheek.
yeah, that's still a good team. They've lost some guys. They lost some guys you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose your left tackle.
Mm-mm.
You don't want to lose a future defensive captain, future draft pick, and Caleb Downs. You don't want to lose that.
Mm.
But at the same time, they brought on Austin Mack, who was DeBoer's quarterback of the future in Seattle. Now he's going to Tuscaloosa. Brock Heward, who has some ties in Washington, he says that he is Cam Newton light.
Hmm.
So we won't see that this year with Milrow, but in the future we should expect to see Austin Mack on the field. LT Overton from Texas A&M has came there. Damani Jackson from Bama, then DeQuil Bertrand from Texas A&M. So
What do you
they
think?
have 4 incoming transfers.
What do you speculate is stopping Milrow from transferring? You know, you see Caleb Downs going, you see Bond going. What's stopping Jalen Milrow from transferring?
Because if there's one thing there's a couple things that Milrow does well, but his strength as a passer is the deep ball. And what did we just see Michael Penix do?
Sling the deep ball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple times Michael Penix ran, but Milrow can obviously a much better athlete. And you add that dynamic with what DeBoer is offensively with his mind, able to stretch the field and things like that. And you add a dynamic runner. Milrow's thinking like, I can put up some numbers, man. I can put up some real numbers.
Mm.
Like for as a quarterback, you would be insane to not play for DeBoer based off what he's put on tape.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
So yeah, I don't think it was ever a thought of Milrow's mind. Like he like I said, Pennick been airing that thing out, and Milrow can air that thing out too. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see Milrow on DeBoer system. I think that's a match made in heaven. We're gonna see a Penix 2.0. Hopefully, he'll get the Heisman this time, if it pans out that way.
yeah, and I'm pretty, and there'll be weapons around him. Like I said, the portal's still jumping. There's another window in spring. Also, I think Jabbar Muhammad may also end up coming along. I think there's a couple other Washington guys that are in the portal, haven't made their decisions yet, but they'll eventually make their way to Bama. Like Kalen DeBoer, like he got luggage too. Dion had luggage. Kalen DeBoer got it too. He got some REI bags with him.
Nigga said Aria. I'm done.
He got some REI with him. Come on now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm done.
He out there in the Pacific Northwest. He got some REI.
You telling me he pulled up to Tuscaloosa in the Subaru? Is that what happened?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You don't really see Subarus down south, but you know, I realized that when I was in Chicago, I saw a bunch of people in Subarus. I'm like, yo, I ain't seen a Subaru in a minute.
Bro, it's like the car of the North, bro. It's like
Yeah, I'm like, man, I saw them all the time in Minnesota. I'm like, I don't see no Subaru where I'm at now.
it's like the northern United States starter pack: the Subaru, the down jacket, and a pair of gloves.
Now it warmed my heart to see the Subaru, man. I was like, it's been so long.
Hell no, yeah. I'm curious. Kalen DeBoer, cultural fit at Alabama, being down south, coming from the Pacific Northwest, and being from the Midwest too, because he is a Midwest guy at the end of the day. Because he was at Sioux Falls in South Dakota, stuff like that. So I'm curious to see if he can get some of that good old Southern cooking going to Alabama.
Yeah, no, it's always a question. People, whenever there's Northerners, quote unquote, that come down south, those SEC fans always have questions. That was Brian Harson's problem at Auburn. That's why they was trying to get him up out of there. They was like, yo, he not from around here. You see, Brian Kelly put on a fake accent the first 5 months he had the job. He from like Connecticut or something, bro.
I was like, bro, you do not sound like that, bro. Stop playing.
Bro coached at Grand Valley State, Cincinnati, and Notre Dame. Now he got an accent.
Right. I was like, stop playing with me, Brian Kelly. Stop it. Stop it. But it worked out for him. So that'll be good to have another offensive mind too in the SEC that'll kind of be willing to put some points up on the board.
Yeah, no, it will be exciting. Interested to see what he does. Like, he's gonna be chasing a ghost, man, for the rest of his career. As long as he's at Bama, he's gonna be chasing a ghost. Not even a ghost. He's gonna be chasing the man upstairs for as long as he's there. Which is not. I don't think that's fair. But when you take that job, you know what it is.
And one last question for you: how long do you think it is until Nick Saban becomes athletic director at Alabama?
I was just talking to one of my homies about that. I think if he wants it, he can have it. It's about if he wants it or not. Like, right now he's advising the program. I know I'm not really answering your question, but if he wants, if right now he's like, y'all want to be athletic director, they'll find a way to make him athletic director.
I feel that. I was just thinking. I was like, I wonder if he'll go down the Barry Alvarez route. Become the AD, and then coach the football team in the Rose Bowl last minute.
I mean, yeah, it all depends on what he wants to do, man. He could do whatever he wants to down there, bro.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, not a thing he can't do down there. Real quick before we get up out of here, I do want to make a quick Arizona announcement. My guys,
Staying.
Noah Fafita
Mm-hmm.
and Tesor McMillan are staying in Arizona. They're not going anywhere. I read the article. His dad was interviewed. Noah Fafita's dad was interviewed. And so they want to stay. They're not satisfied with the Alamo Bowl game they play. They want to go. They want to make the playoffs, things like that. And also, interestingly enough, the option wasn't to go join Jedd Fisch in Seattle. The option was to go to Alabama. So Kalen DeBoer and his staff reached out to Fafita and McMillan's camp to test the waters on them going to Bama, and they said no. They turned that down.
Interesting.
They turned it. And it's not always about the money, because with all due respect to Arizona, all your guys' money is tied up in basketball. If they would have hit the market, the two of them, and they were a package deal, if they would have hit the market, they would have got paid, bro.
Will Howard might have been out of a job. No, I'm playing.
Hey, McMillan, you pair McMillan up with Ibuka, but they would have got paid, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They would have got paid more than whatever Arizona is giving them.
That's facts. I agree.
So I know you're the money guy, bro, but I'll have to end this how I started it. It's not always about the money.
Hey, you got to follow the money, though.
It's not always about because I'm pretty sure they would have got paid. Like, Bama be moving people families out there and whatnot. So like,
That's true. Ayo, but yeah, at that point, if they had hit the market, that would have been the sweepstakes would have been high.
yeah. And I'm not sure I would want to move from Arizona to Alabama.
Probably not.
Honestly,
Probably not.
no,
Not
no,
not at all.
no. And their families from Cali. You got the West Coast living. All due respect, you don't want to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Not at all, bro. I don't care how big the house is, bro. In Alabama, no.
Yeah, no,
That's
not
a
at
no.
all. No, you in Arizona. You're not that far away from the scenery of Arizona State. So
He said you're not far away from the scenery of Arizona State. Yo, ass is funny. Wait. Speaking of Arizona State. Hey, yo, shout out to my homeboy Adam Miller. He balling at Arizona State. They just knocked off Bronny and them last night. He had a nice little under the hoop layup. Shout out Alan Miller. Forks up.
oh man, that's funny, man. Adam Miller. This is a football podcast, but anyway, Adam Miller is from Peoria, Illinois. Went to high school in Chicago, started his career in Illinois, transferred after his freshman year, and he has yet to find the success that he had as a freshman at Illinois. I just have to get that out there.
Hey, yo, shout
knocked off.
out to Adam Miller, though. I follow him on Instagram. He cool.
Shout out to Adam Miller. You know what I'm saying? I did not know you. I didn't know you were Adam Miller guy.
I knew where you were going with that too. As soon as you was like, he from Illinois, he played at Illinois. I was like, oh shit.
He shouldn't have left. He started every game as a freshman. This is my last thing. Sometimes players' parents have to take a step back. He started every game as a freshman. His mom wanted him to be a point guard. He's not a point guard. He's a two guard. She was upset he wasn't getting the touches because the touches was going to fucking Ayo Dosunmu, who's in NBA right now, by the way. A future NBA player was getting the touches. Touches going to Ayo and Kofi. Like, bro, they're all Americans. They're all Americans. Like, where do you think the ball's gonna go?
Oh shit.
Oh, he didn't want to leave. She made him leave. He went to LSU, tore his ACL. His coach got fired. Had to miss a year. Finally played a year. Transferred to Arizona. He had to wait until a few weeks ago to be able to play because he's a 2-time transfer. And now he's at Arizona State. They're not going to do what Illinois is going to do. And they knocked off USC. USC is mid. They're mid. Every time I watch USC, they look terrible.
Bro, they hyped up Bronny James that first game so bad, bro. I was so disgusted, bro.
And no disrespect to Bronny and all, like, Bronny's not the best player on that team, man. The best player is hurt, Isaiah Collier. LeBron, your kid needs another year of college. Don't force him to leave right now. I don't even know how we got here. But shout out to Adam Miller.
Shout out to Adam Miller. Forks up. Forks up.
Shout out to Adam Miller. This went 20 minutes over our time limit. We appreciate you guys listening. We could probably go for like another hour, but we appreciate you guys listening. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts on the portal. Like I said, we have a lot more content coming out. We'll try to be as consistent as we've been this month throughout the off season, of course, during the season. Once again, I'm Cam Mars. It's Craig Jordan. We're signing out.